looking to bounce back straight away into this one, and with that switch of map, maybe they have something up their sleeve heading into Vertigo. They're starting on that CT side, and yet again, for the second time today, Dinko, I have to sound the alarm for the double dualies. We got 2 dualies out in play for Astralis. Let's see if they can get down and dirty early.
Well, blameF, Vertigo, going to be in the back of his mind after the exit at the major. Massive performance from him individually. We'll see which team gets out hotter here in Dallas. blameF obviously doesn't believe in jet lag, so he should be fine for the time being. Nice slow approach at the moment coming in from the side of Vitality. Utility for Apex will focus on that as now Vitality start to gather in group out towards the A ramp.
Only that one smoke, which has been kept by Apex. Nade about to go into sandbags, and they'll start to begin that approach towards this bomb site. Remember, with only one smoke, you can't go for that full execute, so one side of the site will be open, and Astralis go for counter-aggression.
Fantastic flash to set up blameF for the peak. It's short, but only one found from the Joel Berettas. Absolutely would have wanted more out of that position. Oh, wave on the fallback through the smoke. Eliminates ZywOo with a bullet between the eyes. Farlig from range fights and dances with Magisk, and it's a dance of death that rings out for the day, and it's down to 2 players left here for Vitality as they try and fall away. dupreeh turns and fights, and dupreeh gets a follow-up. Now we're back to a 2v2 as suddenly Astralis get back into the site. The defuse, well, it's being stuck. There's a kid in the back of Farlig. He's holding it through. The bullets are missing, and Astralis have the pistol. The defuse stuck in the smoke. That's a disastrous start for Vitality.
Oh, you think once the bullets start landing, you'd figure out where that defuse is coming from, you'd figure out how to line it up. That doesn't end up being the case. Astralis played it so well initially, though. That counter-aggression with the flash, this was fantastic from blameF. Sure, he only gets 1 kill, but it's great to slow things down. But then dupreeh on the fadeaway gets 2. You think Vitality have it, and out of nowhere, Farlig sneaks the round away. But with it being such a close first round, Vitality got the bomb down, and you know they're going to force.
Yeah, puts us into a real competitive round right from the get-go, and ZywOo gets that revenge back on Glaive in the follow-up. Headshot connects Masuta, trading out on blameF. Fantastic stuff here from Vitality. And dupreeh puts an end to the peaks from Astralis. They just see 3 players a day swinging out top ramp. So Vitality in such a good position now, being up 2 players with all that info.
This was something that Maui Snake just pointed out on the desk perfectly. He thinks Vitality have the better ramp control, and we're seeing that here. Masuta with a good trade, and Config is in the right position, but there's 3 players to find.
Good pick from Config. And like you said, so much more to be done here with the MP9 in hand. Have to get a bit of an upgrade, but not really in a position to do so. If he were to drop that MP9 to upgrade, Soundcue would be given away. So smoke out for dupreeh. Shots land through the smoke, nearly taking dupreeh out of the round. Then Sindari goes down, and now Config runs right through it. dupreeh gets off to the wider angle and deals with a leaping Config to tie up the scoreline 1 apiece. And Vitality would have felt they deserved the pistol. Well, at least they find the force back.
Config will feel a little unfortunate there because he could have maybe got that kill emerging through the smoke. He did a pretty good job at turning it into 1v1s, but I think Astralis just gave away way too many 1v1s at the start of the round on those ramp swings. You see the first player fighting, then there's a little delay before you get the second peak. It just gave Vitality a lot of time to establish those fights because ZywOo got that first kill so quickly. It's back to that ramp control again. This could be a theme of this game.
Yeah, Glaive trying to dance with that Apex early on the deagle. blameF actually goes to the short smoke. The pistol's trying to create some chaos early. Hasn't really worked out in Vitality. Smooth sailing at the moment, just rinse and repeat, quick decisive play towards A. And we now look at the advantage set up for Vitality. Now, obviously, we talk about this team and you see a lot of the translations, I would say, in terms of the players you've got here. You have ex-teammates who have achieved so much together on either side of the server. Long anticipated was their first matchup together with the new rosters back at the major. Almost the perfect place to have it, really. We haven't seen them play in the best of 3 format yet, right? We've only seen them here in the best of 1s. When you look at the matchups overall, though, I think Astralis probably come out a little weaker, I would say.
I'm interested as to what both of these teams set themselves right now as expectations. Because I think the community would say, look, this Vitality team was made to be a championship team. That's what we want to see from them. I don't know if the community has those same expectations for this Astralis lineup. I feel like most people are saying, look, if this Astralis team can be competitive, that's kind of what we expect from them. But it doesn't feel like they have that same next level that it really feels like they could reach. Whereas with Vitality, we're still waiting to see if they can become that team, because they were created to be that team that you look at and say, hey, we're out here to win trophies.
Yeah, and you look at some of the problems that are evident with Vitality. Yes, if these players are robots, you could say the plug and play would be incredible. This roster should perform really quickly, but when you look at the human aspect of it, you have quite a different culture, I would say. Just the speaking side of things, just in the language of English, just not any of these players' first language. So you're going to have some of those issues coming through, and I'm sure the French have struggled a little bit with that. Masuta, not the most experienced player at all, played his whole career in French, and so coming into a roster like this, that's going to be quite a hard adjustment.
Yeah, we've also heard some of the Danish players, I believe, talk about the fact that Apex oftentimes calls a little differently to they're used to, where he goes for a lot of early decisions in rounds where they quickly want to have a goal in mind, whereas Astralis more oftentimes would maybe take things a little slower, kind of feel things out. Apex normally wants to have some sort of goal in mind early in the round, and we've kind of seen it here already with the early ramp control coming through. I think on Vertigo that makes sense, really. It's standard, but on some other maps, that's not always the case.
Well, let's see if that is how it is going to pan out again. Will Vitality go for the same A play yet again as we're into a gun round? Astralis have the rifles out. And it's Flash down in for blameF. It is quick again for Vitality, taking the top ramp control. Masuta sent up over the sandbag into the ledge, and they completely clear with nades, but dupreeh has been taken out early by the utility of Astralis. blameF claiming the first life and Glaive into the flash play set up by Farlig, and a double kill taking out Masuta and Apex in one foul sweep. Vitality's quick play has quickly come to a halt.
Great adaptation from Astralis, and we were just saying we kind of expect Vitality to keep at that ramp control. Clearly Astralis did too. This round isn't over just yet though. ZywOo's still here, seeing if he can find fights. Another 1v1 presents itself, but can't take that chance.
Now Zipix crosses over towards headshot. blameF takes close position at Crane. They need a pick here quickly. And ZywOo overwhelmed and put under too much pressure. Is now Magisk into the 1 versus 4. First pick onto blameF, nearly a chance perhaps on towards Zipix, but just difficult to pull that one off. So Astralis, they bite back, they get their gun round over the line.
I really like that switch up from Astralis because they realized just fully fighting for ramp early wasn't working, but instead of just conceding it completely, they dump a lot of early utility which does big damage, and then they stay sticky on ramp with that flash for the re-aggression in from Farlig, just very well placed, very well timed. If Vitality are running up ramp quickly like that, that flash is going to blind the players. They're likely going to be looking in that direction. So really nice adaptation from Astralis. Let's see if that's what they stick with, because again, we've got action at ramp.
And this time, blameF getting down and dirty inside of the smoke. They come right into it. Backs turn, and blameF able to get a double. That is disappointing from Vitality. Once again, losing 2 players immediately on the ramp fight. You're going to be into a 3 versus 5 straight away. This is rough for Vitality. How are you going to pull this one back?
Hoping they can find a pick, and ZywOo so close, but not able to hit the mark. Back to B though. Yeah,
they turn their attentions here, but Config, aggressive in the stance towards the stairs, is actually given a chance for that fight, and Magisk will take the fight and win it. blameF though, look at this. Look how quick the information's being gathered. Look how quick the ground is being taken here for blameF. He's pushed all the way down through the ramp. He's starting to flank around the other side, and the longer Vitality take, the more potent his position will be.
Vitality's setting up the execute, but they don't realize there are so many players there.
This is so good.
You just need to delay, and blameF has this in the bag.
With all the info, his teammates have rotated over and bolstered the defensive B, and now the flank from blameF. He's about to come around the backside, spots the legs out. First kill onto Magisk, and now Panic Station's well and truly in full force right now for Vitality. They've got to pull off something miraculous just to even compete in the remaining seconds of this round. ZywOo has got teammates alongside of him. ZywOo has taken him out of the round, but needs much more where that came from, and ZywOo ditching them out. We're talking about miraculous. ZywOo certainly lives up to that. dupreeh, you can't plant that, so we're going to have to find a different place to put that bomb, and he will certainly find position for it. But now 1v1 against blameF, and dupreeh placing the sight, flashes up into the fight. And he's so close to taking him out, but the head just barely showing, damage being done, but blameF better for it, but has to come into the den. And dupreeh, and how have they recovered that? Vitality, they've got ZywOo, and they've got a Phenom to get them back into the play.
blameF will not be happy with this round because he did so much work. Remember, he was the man that started things early in the round. He got them that huge advantage. He had the flank. He gets the 1 kill. But then out of nowhere, ZywOo just finds some favorable fights. The first one was onto ZipX. Then here, Glaive tries to transition his position. Farlig was in a committed angle. Astralis will not be happy. That is a round where you should just have the crossfire on the site, locking it in. And you can see the reaction right there. They know that's a round they should not have been losing.
That is, it's mental how that happens. That is a position where you just shouldn't be able to win the round, but that's what you've got when you've got someone like ZywOo, very few players able to do that. And so a couple of important kills. dupreeh obviously has to close it out. Good stuff from Vitality, but a true test now of the mental side for Astralis. They're back down to pistols.
It's great to see those glimpses of ZywOo though, because we heard Maniac say on the desk he's just waiting for that real superstar level to be back from ZywOo. ZywOo's always going to be a good player, realistically, with the way he plays and who he is, the way he thinks about the game. He's oftentimes in great positions, but those flashy moments where he just pulls through for this team haven't been as consistent lately. And that's a huge round to win because, as you see, Astralis down to pistols. That's going to give Vitality an excellent opportunity to get a lot of early T rounds.
Vitality do not walk into the stack. They've made the call to go to the other side of the map, and so therefore Astralis will not have any competition in this round. When you look at the Vitality side, another point that Des was talking about was the performance of dupreeh at the major. Now, that wasn't a great performance. We've seen how emotional dupreeh was, and the performance was nowhere near the standard we expect from him. Now, dupreeh coming into this Vitality roster was one of the players that hit the ground running, a resurgence in his form, elevating his performance to beyond what we've seen in a long time from dupreeh. Unfortunately, it went missing at that point, but if he can get back to even close to the level he was having earlier on, but the rest of the Vitality players showing up around him, that's when we start to see the Vitality we want to compete here. I mean, this is a tournament, Hawker, and you can have your opinion on this in terms of looking at the field now. We've lost a few big names. This is a tournament where you could see Vitality go very deep.
Absolutely. That's how they have to be looking at this event, I think, with this roster. And even just with looking at the opponents, like you see the results from Vitality, they probably are one of the more tenured teams, even if they feel like they haven't been playing to their best lately. Blake's got an AK, so that's a little cheeky. blameF wants one too, but I think he's just going to have to save the Deeg. Astralis will be able to buy, and we'll get to see if that ramp control will continue to be the main theme of this game. It generally is on this map, but we've seen a couple of switch-ups in the way Astralis have approached ramp. It was that round previously where blameF went aggressive all the way down off the back of the utility. Vitality didn't seem to be able to handle that. So we are seeing the different ramp setups from Astralis, which is a good sign. We just need to see them actually close out some of those rounds.
You know, Vitality have actually been losing that ramp battle more often than not now, so you know you're not going to get a round like that every time out of ZywOo. We have to see that change up here for Vitality. They can't afford to keep hemorrhaging players, and they're very close to losing the first already. Masuta down to 20 HP. Has to get out of dodge on that follow-up utility from Astralis.
That's the scary thing. If you can't just get the ramp control straight away, there's going to be smokes all over the place, and you're probably going to get spammed, but that's the exact pick that ZywOo was waiting for. He couldn't hit it in the previous round, but he hits it this time.
Not an easy pick to find. There's a pixel over the top of those sandbags that you have to try and just wrap your way through it. Interesting position from Farlig, somewhat one and done. And with the spacing solid for Vitality, the trade does come through. 4 versus 3, Astralis down a player. blameF looking to change that. He almost has to here. Magus does cross over. Information gathered as to where blameF is playing. He's not going to hang around in a position too much longer. Decides to go and patch up the hole upon the top ramp hit and gets utility down to stop that short play from coming in.
Big rotate from Astralis. They have everyone here, but it might not matter because ZywOo is on the server and he's here with a bang.
That is incredible. 4 big bangs right there from ZywOo, taking 4 players down in the round. Sidorus and ZywOo's hitting every one of them. Fantastic stuff. Here in Dallas, ZywOo's off to an absolute flyer, 13-4. This is the ZywOo we want to see. This is the ZywOo that can tear you up. We've seen some massive rounds already out of him, and they just keep on coming.
I didn't think he'd find all these fights, because there's the utility up towards the site, but he just finds them all.
Just gets himself in the position to take the easy fights and takes them. Now we look at Astralis. These ramp fights no longer going their way. Now we have had a lot of players talking about the meta here on Vertigo is now you wait out the utility on the ramp, because if you go and you try and fight as a T, often or not you can be at a disadvantage. So a lot of Ts have elected to go for the retake approach in the ramp, you know, wait out the utility and go up. But Vitality still, they've somewhat slowed it down in the ramp play, but they're still competing even when that utility's up. So cool to see that from Vitality. We'll see if there's a shift in the play here as they go quickly towards the B-stars.
Missed flashbang early there, but it won't matter. The firepower a little too strong from dupreeh.
Yeah, good stuff from dupreeh. Should be looking for the second here in the site as well in just a moment. Astralis have a little bit of utility. They'd love to try and sprinkle them up and soften them up a little bit for the Deegs.
There are some pistols stacked here, but at range, you still expect the AKs to win these fights comfortably. It's not so comfy, but the rest of them should be.
Yeah, and winning this round for Vitality cleanly is going to be fantastic for the economy game, because you can see it's already starting to build across the board. Masuta's the player who has been in a lot of the fights on ramps, therefore his cash is a little bit low to the rebuys, but everyone else is starting to build up a very good bank here for Vitality. The start of this game felt back and forth, but it really does feel like that momentum and the control of the game is safely in the hands of Vitality for the moment. Oh, nice shot from blameF. Upgrade not going to be easy to pick up here.
If only he had a nade, man. You'd love to nade that AK back to you.
Even getting away though, Vitality could elect to hunt him out of it, but let's see if they can figure out how to take him out without losing the player here. Masuta is the one player I don't really want to go too far into this, and so dupreeh will peek in from CT. Apex getting loud. Starting to feel confident. A great start from Vitality here as they look to try and keep it up. 7-2. AWP is going to be back in the hands of Farlig alongside their rifles for Astralis.
It's the other upside of Vitality's economy being strong too. You talk about the AWPs on both sides. Well, ZywOo has been showing us what he can do with that AWP. He's here to play today, and as that money continues to build, they can continue to get that sniper into his hands. Not much action at mid so far, as is often the case on this map, but I think that's more just because Vitality are finding success anywhere else. They haven't needed any mid play. Looks like a more passive setup from Astralis this time. They've actually got two players committed to B early, and that will pay off for them. Config as that B anchor finally getting an early fight.
Yeah, he's repositioned X-Shep on top of these boxes as well, but Magisk is ready for it, and Config will go down. A swift reply there from Magisk to get Vitality back into the 4v4.
blameF's alone here. He does like to play these solo plays around ramp. He can be good at them. We saw that previously. Vitality not fully committing yet, and blameF might take the chance to slip back to the bomb site.
Yeah, there's one player you're going to leave alone in these positions and have full faith in. It would often be blameF, one of the best CT players on the planet, but this time gets shredded by Apex. Glaive caught in no man's land and open, trying to transition position. And Apex swiftly takes him away too. Vitality not really sweating it in these rounds. You lose dupreeh towards B early, but right back into it. You've had unwinnable fights for Astralis. Even if you get one in those positions, you get traded immediately, right? So it didn't feel like the setup was strong enough there for Astralis to really compete in the late round at all.
I think, yeah, the tough thing for Astralis with some of these setups is blameF likes to make a lot of those solo plays as that player towards A. He likes to be able to get in and amongst things, and I think he's good at that. But then the question is, how do the rest of the team follow up to that? And you kind of see Glaive there didn't have fully an idea of how he could follow up blameF's play. He decides to go aggressive last minute. He gets caught right out in the open. I was actually looking up some of the numbers for Astralis, and both ZipX and Glaive are below a 1.0 rating on the CT side this year, which is pretty rare actually. Most players nowadays are farming a lot of their frags on that CT side.
That was just blameF's taking everything away.
Yeah, blameF's is pretty high. He's got a 1.34 rating on the CT side.
That's unreasonable.
That's above ZywOo, by the way.
Yeah. Well, great start from Vitality. They've already won the half by a minimum of one round. Looking at the economy side of things for Astralis in this round, it doesn't really look like the rounds are going to stop coming for Vitality. You're looking at Deagle's MP9s, keeping some cash in the bank. The one player with the rifle here is ZipX, so he has to be the player that steps up and delivers something here.
Switch and setup, mid being left wide open early by Astralis, stacking 2 towards B, 3 towards A. And honestly, mid has been a non-factor so far. So I like that on this round. Just stack the sites early, see if you can find fights. And masuta oftentimes has to lead the charge of Vitality, but it's Apex up first and out of the round.
Apex has been fantastic at finding some of these picks towards the ramp. This time is slapped away by Farlig. You're going to see the play slow as Vitality down a player. Can't really afford to lose another. You can pull that thread that is somewhat open now. Astralis wanting to unravel the whole round itself with a flash play. masuta quick to dodge it. Play in from Farlig goes down. No reply from Astralis, so we're back to the 4v4.
Smart from masuta. I think he was aware there would likely be some re-aggression to try and get that rifle that was dropped early. So he just waits alone, and he's also ready for the flashbang. And even though it's a 4v4, just look at the utility that Vitality still have, and they have ramp control. This is still set and primed for Vitality to be able to just execute out onto A. We've seen it before, but look at the aggression.
Well, blameF cracks over the head of ZywOo, and ZywOo moves through with a rifle. And Astralis starting to turn this into a round win as blameF connects another. dupreeh, 12-2, looking to try and win the 1v3. And it goes over towards Glaive. Molly falls in behind it. Glaive forced into a reposition. dupreeh unable to capitalize upon that. And remember, 15 seconds on this timer. So dupreeh's chances of this round win starting to dwindle further at 9 seconds. dupreeh probably realizes, well, just a safe call is the best option here. Saves the rifle in the corner. And Astralis, that's a bit of a lifeline now thrown to them. You win on the back of one rifle, a couple of upgraded weapons, and you catch dupreeh after the time as well. Money not really too much of an issue here for Vitality, but Astralis, let's focus on that. That's a big opportunity to get into this half again.
Just some well-timed aggression because they didn't have any utility, right? They couldn't flash into ramp. They couldn't have any nades to set up that play. They just had to time it as Vitality was setting up the execute. But I think it was the most obvious play from Vitality in that round, was to just go for a slow A execute. And Astralis clearly were aware of that. They read it perfectly. They get the timing right. They catch some players with nades out. And then once the first fight goes against Vitality, the rest just follow. This time, though, it's ZywOo getting kills again.
Yeah, Farlig decides to take the position. ZywOo is so proficient.
Don't peek him. Don't peek him.
Get into that spot, and ZywOo will forcibly remove you. Little peek from blameF to see if ZywOo is still chilling out there. Fantastic nade with a lot of damage done with that. But ZywOo has dealt Astralis a horrible hand at the start of this one. blameF, Config, and ZywOo need to somehow weasel their way back into this. Play forward. Oh! One bullet to the brain. And Config out of play. blameF and ZywOo, well, this one's pretty much done.
I was hoping for another one-tap. If I ever get a one-tap in a game, I'm going for one-taps all round.
Yeah. But
they have to take it a little more seriously than my matchmaking game, so it turns out.
Yeah, we care about the matchmaking, because you know, a little different here on the servers. blameF 1 vs 5 starts to creep his way towards dupreeh. He's going to look for the tap on towards blameF, but the headshot collected. dupreeh forcibly removed from the round as Vitality won't get the clean sheet, but just moments away from taking this. And this is the problem. You know, we say it's an opportunity for Astralis winning that pistol, right? We said it was their chance back into the half. You need to take that opportunity. You need to hit it a home run on that. You need to follow up with the follow-up round. You need to get into this, but letting Vitality go right back to 9 rounds, your economy's in the bin again. This is a horrible half right now for Astralis.
blameF will here's masuta, so that's another kill. He's been doing his bit. Up to 11 frags now. Vitality have so much cash that they will continue to try and get him out of here. It is almost like he's just defending his bomb site for his dear life right now, and the flashes should put an end to it. Vitality up to a 9-3 lead. The money is a little awkward for Astralis too. A couple of players have the cash. You can see all smiles for Vitality right now. These are the fights, though. I mean, not enough utility, really, on the Astralis side, committing to the ramp fight. You know that ZywOo's been AWPing. You're just praying that you win that first fight, because if you don't, he's going to pick you apart all day long. That's where ZywOo lives. That's his world.
Yeah, he's been somewhat of a surgeon so far. Precision has been key for ZywOo. The micro adjustments, how accurate he's been, how quick he's been in those positions consistently has been fantastic to watch. For Astralis, it is the nightmare scenario I painted just a moment ago. You had that opportunity where you won with pistols and one rifle, and you drop the ball in this follow-up, and you're now down to the same buy you had a couple of rounds prior. Let's see if they can find some of the magic they did a couple of rounds ago. Vitality. And just another slow round here, trying to figure out what they're dealing with on the other side of things.
The nice thing about this setup is that Astralis is stacked so heavily on A that they don't need to use the little utility they have, right? They can keep this utility, and then if it's another slow play from Vitality, maybe those nades could come through, and look at this boost.
It's good because you have you had a chance, absolutely. Should have taken one there. But when you have the player in the sandbags with the smoke going down, you're fixated upon trying to get that player out of the sandbags. You're waiting for that peek around the corner. So you then are distracted upon that boost, and that's a chance for Astralis. The play was great, just the execution towards the end didn't get their intended result.
And in case you're unaware, when you're up on that 3-man boost, you will just start to slide off to the side as soon as you look to a direction. And now they've realized that the B site might be the weak spot in the setup. Vitality group back to B.
Yeah, when you realize how many players are needed to play that spot, you know on sandbags, it's absolutely the right call here for Vitality to go back to B, but dealing with the players inside of the site is proving to be a little more difficult than they initially expected. A couple of kills to come in for Astralis, but ZywOo, again, pulling them out of the hole. He's got the shovel, but it's not enough just yet. 9 seconds, ZywOo has to do it all. 1 versus 2, time is ticking. He has to commit to the plan, and now he's stuck in the smoke. Farlig goes into the shot, P250 to the head, and another round, 1 rifle, 4 pistols. Astralis get a 4th round.
It seems like it's in these low-buy rounds where Vitality start to slow down. That's when Astralis can actually get some good reads on these situations. They throw some different setups in there, and then because the time gets so low towards the end of the round, it just seems to stress out the Vitality guys. And we know this could be an issue for this squad with the language issues they could be having. If you get into these late-round scenarios, you need to make sure everything is on point, and here, it wasn't quite that. The utility wasn't really perfectly placed. You see ZywOo having to just try and plant in the midst of a smoke at the end. A little awkward for Vitality. The good thing is they've still already got a great half, though. They don't need to stress too much about this, but they'd obviously like to put the cherry on top.
Yeah, it's not a great position for Astralis either, right? You still don't have a lot of rounds to play with. You still haven't really shown consistency in the gun rounds. So there is still quite a bit of work here needed for the side of Astralis. We do have a tech issue right now, so we're going to see if we can get a couple of the Astralis players back into the server. Hopefully that won't take too long. But for Vitality, man, how sick is it to see ZywOo performing like this? And dupreeh, he said he was going to go and get better after that. His performance wouldn't be like it was at the major. Well, it's a great start coming in here to Dallas, and a good confident start for dupreeh could really set him up. He's staring at us, but he's not really. It's
it's really off-putting.
He's looking at something.
He's looking at something.
He's just thinking about all the shots he's going to hit in this next round on Astralis.
Where do I want to get my kills next round?
Yeah.
Maybe B, maybe A, who knows?
Feels like he's planning it out, right? It's just the amount of opportunities he's had and the amount of opportunities he's missed. It really doesn't feel like he's missed too much of them. I think it's like one or two shots towards the difficult shots at the sandbags and the ramp fight is the only shots he's missed. He really hasn't missed other than that. But we now enter the play again. Everybody is ready to go. We'll be getting back into the action in just a moment's time.
Here's a small detail. When Zonic wanted the timeout there, he taps dupreeh on the shoulder to call for the timeout. Okay. I feel like normally you would go to the in-game leader, but I guess you've just got that connection, right, with those players for so long.
Yeah, perhaps.
It honestly doesn't make a big difference. It's just something I noticed.
dupreeh's in front of him.
Yeah,
and you don't have to walk down.
I love to overanalyze stuff, Dinko. You know me.
You did have a video on handshake, Solka, so I suppose you do read into everything.
You got
smoke signals, the smell of the wind, the direction.
Exactly.
It's all in there. But
if someone goes for a fist bump and you go for a high five, it's over. It's over for you. Actually, we did that when we met here, so we're done.
Yeah, we're awkward. But 9-4, you know, we're looking at Vitality just a moment away from getting back into this. They decided actually to go for the timeout, as you pointed out. So just trying to focus up ahead of this one it is frustrating. Losing 2 rounds now in this first half, 2 pistols and 1 rifle. I mean, you look at this could be 11 rounds already picked up for Vitality. You could have a fantastic half. You could take 13-2 at the half. So they have had a couple of opportunities they have let slip. It hasn't been perfect from Vitality, But the gun rounds have been way better from the side of Vitality than that of Astralis. So we have to see that turnaround for the Danish side if they want to compete here. 6 rounds is what they're looking for the remainder of this first half. And ZywOo, he's looking for the first pick towards B. dupreeh's helped him out, and dupreeh is the player to take out Config yet again.
Astralis have been going for that double B setup in a fair few rounds, but this is the first time it's tested straight away, and this time it is dismantled early. They were hoping that they could get established for that early B control. But now Vitality have that man advantage, and this has been the problem for Astralis. When it's been the gun rounds, they just seem to consistently lose that early player. Out comes a bit of utility into the B bomb site, but it doesn't have to be the full commitment here for Vitality. You can still see they've got plenty of nades remaining. Only the 1 smoke on Apex though. So normally if you were going back to A, you'd want those 2 smokes for the setup. And maybe with only 1 smoke left, you just commit into this B site. A couple of mollies to the site could clear out some positions. They've left the bomb behind here though, so I think just still searching for another frag.
Yeah, they can force an easy fight onto ZywOo by just limiting the positions he's playing, right? They can start to realize that Tetra should be clear, close position behind Wood is clear, and you can see now you have to set it up with a smoke. So Astralis have thrown down a smoke, steps have been seen towards the cubby for ZywOo as he begins to alleviate his position and drop back behind the generator. It is Vitality just forcing them further and further back, but ZywOo and blameF, they've taken 2 kills between them. dupreeh and Masuta out of the round, and with 20-odd seconds left, ZywOo finally puts a player in the ground. So another round looking almost on here, but a 3v3, a retake for Astralis is needed.
blameF still has utility. That could be big, because there aren't that many positions you can play in this post plant.
Flash goes over the top, ineffective, but ZywOo still comes out on top of the fight. ZywOo misses the shot, goes into the fight, and Farlig takes him down in the second peak. And now it is Magisk having to close in the 1 versus 3. Currently held behind a great screen gap, allows Farlig to scope on in. And Astralis, we said they needed the follow-up gun round. Well, this time they've got it.
Really solid patient play there from Astralis, just sitting back towards the site. Obviously getting those kills on the cross is huge. These are the kills early through the smoke. It's nice that you have both ZywOo and blameF combining there too. You have both of those players just spamming. It's going to make it really difficult to cross through. And then Astralis used some of that utility on the retake. Farlig able to clear out that far back corner. Not always easy to use that AWP in those retake scenarios, but he showed a really solid, effective use of the sniper there. And now it's back to ramp for the last round of the half.
It's very quick. It's almost shades of the start of this half for Vitality. And once again, on those quicker plays, Astralis deal with it well. 2 players down. And we've seen Vitality win rounds like this before.
You'd hope now Astralis just turtle up, maybe go for some re-aggression together if you decide to commit to anything. But this crossfire on the site should be solid. They still have utility, but there'll be a fight coming.
Apex gets a little unlucky there. The timing is blameF actually just gets behind the side of the crane. Now ZywOo, he was the player to get them back into that miraculous round. We remember in the start of this half when they were down after 2 players fell towards ramp.
It's really just stealing the AWP.
Let's see if he can do it again. Starts to creep again. Here comes the boost from Astralis. They gather some info, but Vitality haven't managed to get around the corner. They've managed to get around to the safe side. And a shot for ZywOo, another one pulled out. 2 players still towards short side right now for Astralis, and 45 seconds for Vitality. This is certainly doable. Magisk needs to kill here, and he's not able to get it, so ZywOo springs into action. Are we about to see more magic out of the Frenchman? He pushes forward, this time Config with the reposition, catches him as he crosses. Both teams with frustrating rounds. We'll see which team comes out on top as you join us for the second half.
but where's ZywOo's fragged? He's got to start posting something, but from where? ZywOo, he's just got a slight gap under the smoke, and it's enough to catch boomich in transition. ZywOo wants to pull it across the line. 2 frags onto 2 of the best. And now swings out for another. He's possessed. ZywOo won for another ace, another clutch. It's Perfecto hunting him. No one has been able to knock him on his ass yet, and he's got 6 HP. It didn't stop him before, and it doesn't stop him again. ZywOo!
Seems like I can't get away from the hot sun. Always night, it's never day. Even when I watch the floor, the dust will come. Keep on hunting for the prey. No matter how lost, need no light, no.
Here in Texas, but I'm sure Vitality would love to have picked up a truckload of rounds. Unfortunately, dropping to 1 rifle, a couple of pistols too many times. They didn't get as many rounds as they probably would have hoped and probably should have picked up. But that does give Astralis a lifeline in the first half, and now heading into the second with a pistol picked up, they could be very close to tying up the scoreline almost immediately.
They could try and bring it back. Vitality still in a strong position, though, it has to be said, but like you were saying, at least Astralis have a chance, and they have plenty of utility here in the pistol round. A couple of smokes and flashes, and honestly, I don't even know if we saw mid in that first half at all, Dinko. We're going to get to see it here in the pistol.
There we go. A little tour of Vertigo, but we'll see if Vitality are able to deal with this. They have got 2 players ready for the potential play into this position. Magis plays from construction, waiting for a boost over the top, and again, you have 1 player out towards CT, so Vitality could deal with this. Utility begins to force them back. And this is quick from Astralis. Here they come in towards Magis. It's Masuta that's taking the first 2. Clear from Farlig out, and a fantastic hold so far from Vitality. The split potential not really there any longer for Astralis, so they have to just get into these fights, and Config can try, but he won't come out on top. Now just blameF left, trying to run away. Oh, so much damage done. He's down to 19, and Vitality starting to run over the top into the beastly blameF. They'll take him out this time, and Vitality double figures as they find the pistol.
You see what Astralis were trying with that pistol there, having the smoke into CT, being able to just split and fully focus towards B. But Masuta was just able to emerge through the smoke before the Astralis players went over the top. And that was the big difference. If Masuta was just a little hesitant and sat behind the CT smoke for a few seconds, it would have been tricky for the crossfire to be there. But Masuta decided to go through straight away. Astralis didn't have the timing window to get him. And that means that they have just got Glocks in this one. I mean, they've been good with the pistols, Dinko, but come on, it's Glocks.
Yeah, I think we can probably write this one off. But, you know, we're looking at Vitality and the expectations coming into the tournament. Obviously, I'd say pretty similar to that of Astralis, maybe in terms of wanting to see them go much deeper than we have anticipated or expected of them in prior tournaments, because obviously we're missing out likes of Navi was missing out on Heroic. Those are two spots now opened up. They go very deep in the competition. I think Astralis and Vitality are two of those teams that will look to fill those spots and step into those shoes. And for Vitality, I've been impressed with ZywOo's performance so far. That's very exciting. And with the level dupreeh shown so far, you can build on this for Vitality. This is a great start, a great foundation being laid. And I just want to see more of this. I want to see this be consistent for the rest of the competition.
ZywOo would love a bit of extra cash. $600 if he could get this kill, but he doesn't clear the corner. Yeah, definitely some nice signs for Vitality, having some of those stars show up. And the role players, I think, are just doing what they have to do. Maybe it'd be nice to see a bit more from Magisk, but I think oftentimes you think of Magisk as more of a CT player anyway. In the past, he's very good on those CT sides, anchoring positions at times. We'll get to see if that will come through here, because we have our gun round, and really, this is pressure on Astralis. If you lose this first gun round, it is very hard to see Astralis coming back into this one.
Yeah, so a lot of pressure on this one for Astralis, and their call to start the round is quick up the ramp. Smoke in towards short. ZywOo looks to try and fight. He's got in the mix early. MP9 comes away with both kills, and a swift upgrade to the AK. ZywOo taking sprinkles of damage through the smoke, but he's hanging around. He is not leaving. He is staying in the fight, down to 1 HP. Goes into the fight in conflict. Close corner is quick for the double kill and followed up by Farlig. So you had the perfect start. You had the ideal position, and Vitality have lost it. Astralis right back into the driver's seat with the man advantage.
And they can pounce. They have the utility deep so that they cut off the rotation. Mega's trying to fight, but ZywOo holds the line for Astralis. They're going to get that bomb down, and dupreeh hasn't got a hope in hell here with the MP9. The nades could maybe make a difference, but he'd need a nade kill.
He could absolutely do damage here, though. That is also a big factor. Look at Astralis' money. It's not in a good position. dupreeh can take a few players out of this, force those rebuys for Astralis. Team Vitality can still pose the threat in the next round for Astralis. They want to keep 3 players up here. dupreeh has utility to toss on in. Smoke goes into the play. Itchy going deep. It's not going to reach anybody. But if he finds a couple of fights as they try and exit through the elevator, this could be something, but he allows ZywOo, the high HP player, to fight first, and that keeps 3 players up for Astralis.
I think Vitality just got a little ahead of themselves there. After ZywOo makes that early play, really, when you send ZywOo down like this with the MP9, I think you just take what you can get from him. And once he gets these 2 kills, I don't think you need the re-aggression from the rest of the team. I don't think that was the plan at the start of the round. Yeah. But because ZywOo did so well, the rest of the players kind of feel like, okay, we need to help ZywOo here. He's got into a great position. He's got off to a great start. But Apex just out in the open. There's not enough cover. They try and commit, and it ends up costing them.
Yeah, a lot of messy rounds with both teams losing rounds. They have significant advantages in to start. blameF throws the Itchy towards Sandbars. Look how heavy that is. 51 HP on ZywOo. He's under pressure with the molly. blameF is going to call for the nade to go in again. And ZywOo, he's out of there. Not even able to play in the round. Itchy goes in. Follow-up comes a little bit later. And ZywOo has to just watch on the 4 screens that surround him. The rest of his teammates left to try and deal with this one. Glaive trades out the 1-for-1 against Masuta. Magisk, that CT play you're talking about, stepping up strong. And Config left in the 1v3. Great stuff out of Magisk. And Masuta closes with the 3K. Big round from him. And Vitality, that's a strong answer back.
Yeah, it's so big that Magisk survives for so long in his position, right? He's out in the open in a bit of an off angle, but a really hard position to hold. And that's what makes the difference, because him surviving gives time for Masuta to also swing out from short. He has a little bit of time ahead of time to figure out the play he needs to make. And then this final fight, Config comes back, but he's too late to the party. Hero AK out for Config. He's going to need to crack heads in this one.
It's great to be back here in the US. It's been a long time since the Intel Extreme Masters has returned to the American continent. It's first time, I'm sure, for these players in a long time as well. Great to see. We've got some North American teams coming up a little bit later we'll get to see. I'm sure they've got their eyes in the prize now with some of the weekend field that those NA teams. Maybe a dream exists again for them to go deep. At that does pan out, but right now the dream for Vitality is to close this one 16-7. dupreeh cleaning up with a couple of beautiful headshots. Astralis, you're still in a position to buy here, Hawker, but it isn't fantastic still. You're going to be missing out on quite a few pieces of utility coming into this gun round, and you're going to have to sacrifice some of those AKs to go to Galil. So Vitality have a perfect spot right now to try and close this one out.
Yeah, they really are in a prime position here. Over in our other matchup, the winner of this game goes against the winner of the other one, and I think that one's already concluded with FaZe taking their win, as you would expect. So that's who Vitality could be looking ahead to. Still have to focus on closing this one out, though. 13-7. Solid scoreline. Astralis unable to get the early ramp control, which they haven't been able to get in the previous rounds. It looks like now the utility should get them what they were looking for. Vitality happy to give this up, but look at that nade. Huge damage. And there's a heavy stack here.
Glaive is in a difficult spot trying to open that up with the Galil. Utility being tossed out back and forth. No real fight ensuing just yet. A minute left on this timer. masuta about to be thrust into the fires of battle. He goes around the corner. It's ZywOo that's got one, but the rest of the kills come in for Astralis. Farlig, Glaive, and Zipnix taking all the kills required. And just Magisk left. He can't compete in this one. Astralis, stay afloat. A crucial round there to win, considering the weakened buy.
I wonder if Vitality needed to make that play, because Astralis committed really heavily to controlling ramp early. They didn't have much utility left. They just had enough for a site execute at that point. So I wonder if Vitality could have maybe just sat back, tried to stall behind instead of going aggressive, because going aggressive like that is a big risk. If it pays off, you win the round, but if it goes against you, you're basically putting all your cards into the middle. You're putting all your chips into the middle and relying on that play to win you the round. And if you sit back, you can maybe smoke spam, you can maybe delay, you can even set up a retake with some utility. They decide to commit all in early, doesn't pay off. It's a nice try with the nade from Magisk, but no one there.
Magisk with the dunk. Get brained on.
That would be the new Vertigo. That's the zoomer version. But
yeah,
we're gonna see, obviously, with Astralis, this is, if they lost this round, I think we're probably looking at Vitality closing this one out. But in this position, you've got at least a little bit of a hope left in the Astralis camp. You've got the rifles back out. You've got a little bit of a blanket to fall into in terms of the economic reserves. And for Vitality, they are on their last legs with the investments as well. But ZywOo's got the big green in his hands, and we know what he can do once he gets on the CT side, and exactly that. He takes out blameF, gets the opening, and ramp is almost shut down already. Apex follows up with another, and ZywOo's ready for the play on through. This round was over before it began. Astralis down to 2 players.
It's just so disjointed from Astralis. One by one, the fights come through. I don't think they wanted any of those fights, really, but they just felt like they had to try them. ZywOo forcing the fight early. 29 kills now. So nice to see a performance like that from him. Back to mid is the attempt from Astralis. I don't think there's anything coming for them here, though. masuta meets him head on. It's 14-8. And it's the round that Vitality were waiting for.
Yeah, now we look at Astralis. They had a bit of a comfort blanket I mentioned previously, but you would have liked to at least have seen them compete for a ball plant in this round. But with it being so clean for Vitality and such a shutdown, Astralis don't get that extra cash injection. So they have to look at Tech-9s, they have to look at MAC-10s coming into this just to get some extra utility out. So if you lose this, if you're Astralis, it's done. Vitality will close this map out and send you back in the first best of 1 to a 16-8 scoreline. This is not the start Astralis will be looking for. And Apex swings out towards short. Again, first pick is Vitality's to play with.
masuta goes for the re-aggression, and the bomb is gifted to him. Vitality continue to contend. Astralis finally fighting back.
They need much more where that came from, and that's exactly what Farlig has gone and found, but plenty more needed. Zipex rattling off a couple of shots, brings down masuta, and blameF and Zipnix into the clutch. Spotted dupreeh with the aggression forward. blameF gets caught out, and Zipex in a 1 versus 2. There would be a world, time long ago where you would not count him out in any clutch, but not this time. 15-8, Team Vitality, 1 away from taking a convincing win yet again over to the Astralis side. And this would be a statement to start for Vitality.
Just an all-out brawl on ramp, and you see how quick every single player on the map is in that position. Vitality just have everyone rotated over so soon because they got these early fights and because they saw the bombs so quickly. This was how Farlig started to fight back for Astralis, but it was too little too late. Yeah, we could get that exact same scoreline from the Major. It was a 16-8 win for Vitality on Mirage at the Major. Astralis switched up the veto. Doesn't seem to have gone any better for them.
Consistency for Vitality is what we're looking at here then. ZywOo, Flash is going to catch him. This time has to reposition, trying to get out of dodge. And oh, ZywOo not in the best of spots. There's so much pressure there. Farlig gets rid of him. So upgrade into the AWP available now for Astralis. And maybe a chance to compete in this round again.
That's normally the sort of round where you feel like ZywOo would just pick the best spot, right? He's normally known for just being able to be fully aware of where he needs to be. This time he commits maybe a bit too much against what is a weakened buy from Astralis, but now they've got an AWP to work with, and they're going to group back up towards B. Oh, I don't think he can commit through that. Or maybe you can.
That's not clean at all for dupreeh, luckily. Well, not even luckily, gets caught on the crossback with a smoke. blameF takes him out with a Glock in. Oh no, not again. Pistols again. They just keep pulling him out. Astralis, surely this is their round. Apex in a 1 versus 4 does get taken out. My god, another one for Vitality against pistols.
That's just some misses that shouldn't have happened, really. I don't think there's much more to it than that. You got to get that kill on the player emerging through the smoke. Then I thought Magisk had his teammates back and would have just been able to clean up. But a couple of missed opportunities. I mean, blameF's just spamming a Glock through the smoke, man. This is a nice shot from Config. Got to give him credit for that. But Astralis have seemingly got a knack for winning some of these rounds where you maybe count them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, did Magisk full buy and no one else did? Okay. That's awkward. Maybe it's planned. I don't know. They've got a boost, but...
It's a cool boost. I really like this one. Triple boost. How do you even deal with this boost? Like, if you're coming up the stairs, you can't see this. You're just behind these metal prongs. You can't see your opponent on the other side of that. That is very strong.
Wait, can you see it from mid? I don't think so, right? There's enough cover. Yeah, he's fine.
Protected by this metal beam, so... Oh, look at that. That is filthy.
Ugh.
That's disgusting. Well, I don't know if we're going to see it come into play here. Maybe if it's held long enough, Config might come into the crosshair. Starting to walk his way down towards the bottom of the stairs. His teammates joining him. Magisk spots the head now, surely sees Config. Config spots him out as well. No kill from it. HE looking to be deployed.
Yeah, you see again on the triple boost, as soon as you try and adjust the angle of the crosshair, it's so hard. And now they realize it was that B stack. They might just try and send it back up to A.
Yeah, blameF has made the space here as well. Gets caught in the open, but tosses down the HE, recovers his rifle in time, and blameF just cleaning them up. That's 3 for him. Farlig quick to the kill on Magisk, commits the rifle like that in that peak. Would have liked to see potentially the save call there for Magisk. And dupreeh's not really in a position to recover that rifle either, so Astralis looking to hunt down every player for Vitality. Money's on the good spot here for the CT side, and Astralis now look at 10 rounds on their board.
I thought for sure the idea behind that play was that you can just save the rifle if you have to, and you don't have to commit like that, but that's not the case, and there may now be a slight weak spot in the Vitality buy into this round. Yeah, that's a shame. As soon as you adjust the angle, you start to slide off. You've got to get a real quick kill, otherwise you are in trouble. Let's see exactly what this buy looks like. I assume Magisk will be missing out on a primary weapon in this one, but the rest of the team should have the cash if they indeed go for the buy. They've actually taken a timeout ahead of this one to figure all that out, because it is getting a little close now. It should still be fine, but 15-10, that starts to get into the realms of possibility for Astralis.
Yeah, you can see those issues coming in when we come out of this pause. You'll see the issues it causes for the buy of Vitality, that buy from Magisk in the previous round. He's down to a Deke, he's down to just like Kevlar and a couple of pieces of utility. So we're in a spot right now where Vitality absolutely could close it here, but there is still weaknesses in this round to give Astralis that chance back into this. And they will seize this opportunity. They will be focused up trying to take this.
Apex, are you going to buy a kit, Apex? Apparently not. No kits needed.
All right, not a single kit for Vitality. Definitely will come down to that. That ZywOo goes into the fight, immediately taking damage. 2 players, Masuta and ZywOo, being chunked down on health, and glaive commits through the smoke spam, and Masuta is out of the round. ZywOo mortally wounded as well. This is not the ideal start for Vitality. And now we look at Astralis with ZipX and Config making the move through middle as well.
And when you get that kill, you can draw that mid player away. Glaive's got another, and ZywOo's still here close by. He hasn't been spotted, but they've lost 2 players, and they've lost mid.
It's going to take a big play here for dupreeh, and he's not going to be able to take a single kill. And that's it for Astralis. ZywOo, the player that looked like he was going to die 100% first, is actually outlived his entire squad and gets away with the only kill so far. But ZywOo will be found elsewhere and will be taken out. 11 rounds now for Astralis. That was a buy from Vitality, and nothing was in it.
It fell completely flat, didn't it? And I actually love that call from Astralis. Once they get the kill towards ramp, you know, those ramp fights are always going to go back and forth. You're going to get these sorts of spams. This is that early kill from Glaive, getting that through the smoke. But then the response was fantastic to have those couple of players pounce on mid. They had those players in position quick enough where they could actually take advantage of the gap, because they figured there would likely be a rotate away from that position. They got all the way up mid, so far up that Vitality really had no way of knowing and no real chance of stopping that. And now you have to assume this is a 12th round at the ready for Astralis.
Farlig just shredding through them. He's had a good performance there. Numbers right now for him, 22-19. ZywOo, who's at 30 this round. Continue to take some kills here at Farlig and Glaive as they make their way towards the side. Astralis locking in 12 rounds. And Vitality will have better buy. That loss bonus starting to build now as well for them. Let's see what level it's at right now. So heading into max loss bonus in a moment. So yeah, it's looking good for the Vitality side at the moment in terms of getting that buyout, and an opportunity to close it will then arise.
Yeah, Farlig's definitely a capable rifler too, which is really nice to have. I think he's just a solid all-round player, which is definitely valuable for Astralis. I saw Maui Snake tweeting earlier saying the AWP difference was clearly the big difference here in this matchup. But Farlig's been catching up with the frags. I still think in terms of just AWP versus AWP, ZywOo's been doing so much with the sniper.
Yeah, the AWP department, absolutely. I think Farlig's had a majority of his kills maybe on rifles, and a couple here in the eco round too, so.
blameF did die to the bomb, but it doesn't matter for anyone watching at home. It's good, they got money.
Well, it is going to be the strong buy for Astralis. Now I'm more focused and fixated upon the fact that ZywOo now has the AWP back in his hands. You brought that point up just a moment ago, and when ZywOo gets the AWP on the CT side of Vertigo in towards that ramp, that's where he can be a real nuisance, and he hasn't got to get that AWP out too many times here on the CT side. We've seen him actually running down through the smokes, getting into the fights early with the rifles. You will favor him more in his positions with the AWP itself, so that's going to be something Astralis you have to be aware of. And they actually neutralized him in one of the gun rounds with the perfect flash buy, so he might have to change his position up a little bit instead of playing on that back ledge.
It's still a little bit of a shock we're even in this position. Remember, at 15-8, we felt like this game was over because of the low buy that Astralis had. Yet somehow they've managed to come back into it. And I almost wonder if Vitality are just a bit surprised almost that this game is still going. Got to get their heads back in the game. They've had the pause to have that opportunity. ZywOo is forced to go without Kevlar for the AWP. But he's still got that sniper in his hands, which can be so deadly.
Takes a similar position to what he's been playing with in the rounds he has had that AWP. Just on that back ledge, just maneuvering his way, trying to get in the midst of the action on the gaps of the smokes. But Astralis, you can avoid the AWP if you go towards B. So that is the smart play here for Astralis. They've got a boosted player up on the ledge, over the wood they go, and Config over the top gets taken out by dupreeh. dupreeh now swinging out and trying to gather some more info. Plenty of information being passed on, and that causes the Vitality rotation of another player to try and help out dupreeh in this hole.
Just testing the waters only. That jump is ill-advised, and now Vitality have way too many frags. 2v5 to come back from. Astralis need a hero right now. Yeah, and this B site is still so heavily fortified.
Yeah, it's got to take some real, unbelievable antics out of Farlig. He's going to send his AWP into the site. Just the amount of protocols, the amount of contingency plans should be enough here, and the shot through quad, it's done damage. ZywOo is followed up. The damage into the back of the site, perhaps there is just a chance out of nowhere here for Astralis. Damage done, and into the 2v2 all of a sudden. ZywOo pushes forward, but it's ZywOo that puts him in the ground, and Apex closes it out. Vitality take their first win in Dallas, another win over Astralis. They've got them in the bag at 2-0 in that head-to-head, and we'll see how that rivalry continues in the future, but Vitality have the upper hand. We'll be looking forward to seeing them later continue in the upper bracket. For Astralis, it's down to the lowers to see what they can pull off here at IEM Dallas.